Hello and welcome to another Supernaturally Healthy video. I'm Kezia Hall, holistic health coach, runner of Supernaturally Healthy, lover of green smoothies and cake with vegetables in and all sorts of concoctions that involve cramming as many vegetables into something as humanly possible, but that is a different vlog in itself. So today what I'm going to do is talk to you about one of my favourite topics, which is irritable bowel syndrome. Nice and juicy. So, for those of you that don't know, I've been doing a bit of a series on my blog over at supernaturallyhealthy.org, looking at what causes IBS and all the different things that we can do to really help that. And the reason I do that was because after all the many tests and tubes and everything that got put everywhere, that was the diagnosis I ended up with from the doctors and specialists, and I was just told to live with it and that there was nothing that could be done. But thankfully, several years on, I can now say I live pretty much an IBS-free existence, you know, from having chronic pain, chronic diarrhea, cramping, embarrassing flatulence, burping, gas, all that sort of stuff. It is now something that it doesn't really bother me at all, and I kind of don't really see myself as someone that has IBS that much because it just doesn't really happen. So today I'm going to talk about 4 ways that you can help to naturally treat irritable bowel syndrome. So get your pen and paper ready, or just remember it all. And so number 1 is stress. If we want to learn to heal and live an irritable bowel syndrome free life, then we need to learn to manage our stress really well. Because I have noticed, even in the last few years, as I've sorted out my diet and really healed my gut and my digestive system, actually stress will still trigger irritable bowel syndrome symptoms for me. So we've got to learn to manage our stress really well. So for me, I had to learn the massive impact that stress had on my physical well-being, and that took me and really connect with that and recognize the significance of that. And I also just had to learn to say no to things. I had to learn just really about self-care and actually taking responsibility for my health. No one else was going to do that for me. No one else was going to say no for me. No one else was going to choose what I ate or not, or how stressed or worked up I got something about or not. This was down to me, and I was responsible for me and for managing my stress. So that's really the first and the most important thing in dealing with IBS, is you've got to learn that you're powerful and that you are responsible for your choices, for your stress levels, and for your life. So maybe it's not quite what you're expecting, but it will massively impact every area of your health, is one. Number 2 is diet, obviously. So in terms of looking at your diet, this again is, these first 2 points are the foundations for really getting rid of IBS. And so your diet needs to be good. You can supplement all you want and take as many IBS natural remedies or drugs that you want, actually, but getting a good diet is the most essential thing for waving goodbye to IBS. So what does that look like? Well, for me, I think that a completely natural, whole, real foods diet is a great place to start. Avoiding things that have been sat on the shelf for years, that come in packets, that aren't natural or have more than like a couple of ingredients. So, and some of the main foods that irritate irritable bowel syndrome are things like wheat, refined sugars, gluten, nuts, and dairy, and then sometimes eggs and other things for other people, but those are the main things. So I would just look at taking one of those at a time. So look at sugar and think, okay, I want to get rid of refined sugars from my diet. Let's take that one step at a time. Okay, I'll deal with that. I'm going to remove refined sugars from my diet. And then, you know, once you've gotten into the swing of that, then look at, okay, let's try gluten. How do I feel without eating refined gluten? Okay, try that for a little while, see how you do, and just take it one step at a time. I know saying all of that stuff can feel overwhelming, because it did for me years ago, but what I did was I went one step at a time. Because the important thing to look at is when you're looking at getting rid of IBS, is actually you can't do that in like a couple of weeks. What you need to do is make a lifestyle shift, because the reason you probably have IBS is lifestyle factors. And there's obviously other reasons as well, but that's one of the main things contributing to ongoing irritable bowel syndrome. So you've got to look at these things. This is about making a lifestyle shift. So getting rid of the refined processed stuff, anything that has an ingredient in that you do not know, then just avoid it. Don't let it in your kitchen at all. So number 2, diet, really, really important. Number 3 is supplementation. Now, you'll know if you're around Supernaturally Healthy often that I say all the time, you cannot out-supplement a good diet. So your diet is key to this, but supplementation I have found has really, really helped boost and kind of turbocharge my healing journey in terms of getting rid of IBS. So again, I'm not going to give you any specific supplement recommendations because I think it's really important that you work with a natural health practitioner to give you specific supplement recommendations that go match your health history, your budget, also any other medications or stuff or health issues going on with your life. But in general, you probably, if you have irritable bowel syndrome, there's a high chance you also have a pathogenic bacteria overgrowth within your gut, so you really want to look at getting rid of that bad bacteria. So that's having herbal antifungals, things like beverine, oregano oil, or stuff like caprylic acid. Garlic's also great. You then also want to be incorporating the right probiotics at the right time. You might also need to look at really supporting and helping your digestion, because that might be one of the key issues at IBS. So there's lots of different supplementations, and a lot depends on your specific symptoms, your specific health history, and all the different yummy, unique things about you that will impact what the supplements are that are going to work for you specifically. But in general, I would normally recommend some sort of antifungal for a period of time, and then support with the digestive system and with digestion, and then after a period of time of being on really good probiotics as well. But supplementation, getting that right is important, and work with somebody like me, a holistic health coach. Book a one-to-one session with me or with someone nearby or you know and trust already, who can really give you some tailored and bespoke advice on that. So that's number 3. And number 4, is similar to that one, but I call it food supplementation. So I want you to, one of the best ways to supplement your diet is actually to think about it in the terms of food, which is why I say you can never out-supplement a good diet. So it's really about focusing in on the foods that you can eat more of that are really going to help your body heal, that are really going to reduce the inflammation that's going on in your body, because irritable bowel syndrome is just a case of too much inflammation going on. So you really look at increasing the foods that will help to reduce the inflammation, strengthen the immune system, soothe the gut, help to balance out your bacteria and your gut and all of that sort of stuff. So food supplementations, things that I would generally recommend people to eat more of that are dealing with IBS, are things like fermented foods. So things like kefir, kombucha, water kefir, sauerkraut especially is brilliant if you have irritable bowel syndrome or any sort of stomach issues, reflux issues, anything like that. I love sauerkraut. It's better than you think, honestly. So fermented foods, also things like good quality bone broth or gelatin is also really, really beneficial for those of you that eat meat and are happy to eat animal products. That really, really helps. I really noticed that with my own body from going through the GAPS diet and having lots of bone broth and gelatin. Really, really helpful. Also, green vegetables is a brilliant way, and for some of you that have IBS might find raw vegetables tricky, but for most people, unless it's a very severe case, having lots of green vegetables will really help. That's why I wrote the Simple Green Smoothies ebook, so that there was just loads and loads of delicious ways of getting loads of green stuff into your diet. So I really would recommend increasing lots of those and really making sure you're having a lot of green vegetables and things like eggs and egg yolk and all of that sort of nourishing food. And along with that, also herbal teas can be brilliant and easy ways to really soothe the body and reduce the inflammation. So specifically for IBS, things like ginger tea is really helpful. Peppermint tea, nettle tea can really help. Anything with like turmeric in, really, really beneficial in your body. So to be a bit of a recap, the 4 ways that you can naturally treat IBS is: first, you've got to deal with your stress levels. You've got to learn to manage your stress well. 2, you've got to clean up your diet, get rid of the crap, the refined, processed junk food that's been on a shelf for ages. And that's one of those 2 of the key things for really waving goodbye to IBS for good. Number 3 is get a bespoke supplementation plan that suits you, your health history, and your current situation to really target and really boost the healing. And number 4 is focus on supplementing specific foods that are going to be really, really healing for your body. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any questions about anything that I've talked about today, then leave them in the comments below. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, then I recommend that you do for more great videos and tips and recipes. And if you haven't headed over to supernaturallyhealthy.org, then do so to get your freebies and recipes and just find out more and to figure out how you can really wave goodbye to IBS for good. So hopefully I will see you soon, and thank you so much for joining me.